My faith. When I was a kid, people would tell me these names of God, and they would tell me their beliefs and whatever religion they was dealing with, or who came walking around trying to tell them something. My grandfather would be like, they always trying to tell you something. Watch them people try to tell you something. Because they ain't got nothing to say. But I would say to myself, God, Most High, Divine, I don't like what they call you. If your name's so powerful, why they can speak it? I mean, like, I'm not gonna call you what they call you. I'm just never gonna give up on you. That's what I used to say when I was a kid. I wasn't aware of nothing. I just told Divine I didn't like how he was being treated and talked about, and I wasn't going to treat him like that, and that I was never going to leave him. As a kid, that was my prayer. That was my thing to the Divine. That was always weird to me. Like, as I got older, I would laugh at myself, be like, "Yo, why?" You know what I'm saying? Like what? Like my concept of thinking is different, and I didn't know that was going to translate over into faith. It'd be sometimes I'm having conversations out of frustration with my homeboys or whatever. And the first thing they say is, don't lose the faith. Don't stop what you're doing. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna never stop what I'm doing. I've been doing this forever. Divine on me. I'm gonna keep giving. That don't mean I can't feel how I feel. I was like, my flesh is imperfect. It's gonna feel stuff. That don't mean I gotta like somebody told me years ago, they was like as I was going through something in my head and they was helping me out because I had family loss and whatever. So they was helping me out see things from a different perspective. Very loving person, you know what I mean? And they showed me that one thing ain't got nothing to do with next. Ain't got to do with the next. So like people like to compile things in one situation and say this because this and because this because that. It don't even work like that. Like you sound whole retarded when you believe this to be a fraction of reality. It don't work like that, you know. So one thing got to do with the next, and I be finding like most of my concepts is reverse into the way people think. Like you could be mad, they be like, "Don't do it." I'll be like, "I ain't gonna do it. I'm just making a point." But you mad, and I ain't mad. Man. I'm just saying. It'd be weird like that because everybody's like mind controlled in some way. You know what I'm saying? So they believe the attribute to be how it's taught or how it's shown to them. And it always kept me in a different place. You know what I'm saying? People would like judge me because the way they see things or how they were indoctrinated into believing what they believe. I just ain't gonna do it that way. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna connect to the divine in a personal, loving way that I want to. Nothing exploiting to no one else. A private way. My private way with the divine is a personal connection. If I'm going to submit to something, I got to be real myself, right? So how would I lie? Like, how would I lie to this faction? Like, people get in this mentality and they say we got to change this way, and you got to make these things better in your life. Well, if that's what you want to do for you, then fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see nothing wrong with change in no aspect. I think change is beautiful. You're going to change the more you obtain. That's just the logic of reality. But I have an indifference to the subsequent value. What are you changing to? Because divine set you here to be a certain way, right? And the only reason why you feel that you need to change is because you're rather not enough of yourself or you've become something different. So opposed to the reality of thinking of change, what are you changing? How well are you looking at yourself in this incremental value to see the indifference of what particularly you're really asking for? And see, I promote the value of understanding what you hid with yourself. It's never no need to change what divine put here, but it's definitely a need to refine that understanding and to stand on that. Standing on what you are, not promoting what you've become, is two different things. And this is, I think, where the contrast comes into the value of people understanding themselves. Because now you have to explain the value of why you went through certain things. This singles you out individually when you might be amongst a whole group of people who go through things or went through something. So, how can I focus on the circumstance personally in a group when in fact the solution would be more validated? So, what would that solution be to the aspect of your false reality? See how that individually works out? I can't answer that for you, but I know if I stay close to the divine, which that's going to entail for anybody. It's the only solution. It's the only way for everyone, which sums up unconditional love outside of the value of self-interpretation. So, pause. Ultimately, who's going to teach you how to love, right? Who's going to tell you how to do it? Like that pure way of loving when you first came in ultimately was the way that divine set it in you. So then we go back through this whole thing of relearning what love is, because potentially the love you had for yourself was tainted, or i.e. destroyed, from the aspect of where you gave it, and then you started tempering that value until you had to find something to help you understand this value, and now you're changing into what that promotes you to feel better. Well, that leaves divine way back. That leaves divine way, 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 way back. And ultimately, you feel better because you have someone else that you are now leaning on, some other concept that a man created that you're now leaning on, and they're connected to you with their energy. So they're giving you some of their energy at that moment. I don't think divine like that too much. That's why a lot of these situations don't really hold fast, and they don't really like give you the universal value that you want. You know what I'm saying? There's always some corrupt insurrection dealing with other these other religious principles or whatever value. My point to tell you, divine sent you here with a way of love that you could have cultivated, that grew into the way you are now, but the world tried to distort that because divine knew that love was going to automatically go from where you are to the earth back to the source as an infant. And that's how we had that belief system. But that was messed up. That was tampered with. And that's cool. You know what I mean? That's cool because once you realize these processes are outside of the divine and you get back to that baby love that you had, that baby belief that you had, and now you regrow that and cultivate that in yourself, watch what comes up out of that. I ain't gonna hold you, but you already know the vibes.